Thank you very much, Joe. Well, guys, the SUPA HOT CREW, they pulled it out in the end, and they're going to bring it to Game 4. What a game it was. Let's travel back all the way to the beginning, picks and bans. Nif, maybe throw this one over to you. You said before, not too many changes SUPA HOT CREW should make to the comp, but they made one fantastic, vital change, and that was the Orianna, in your opinion.
Yeah, it fit the comp way better. It was more of a team comp now. You can shield the Rengar and then you ulti him, or you can peel for the Twitch and he has a lot of AoE damage. So it's way better in this patch to go for a team comp instead of a split push.
Yeah, and it definitely seemed to work a lot more in favor of SUPA HOT CREW. They found kills early on. They also pushed objectives, which we hadn't seen from games 1 and 2. Roccat, on the other hand, they struggled a little bit, but it was very close for a very long period of time for those first 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, and it almost seemed like a schooling lesson for the SUPA HOT CREW. Game 1, you know, got dominated on all fronts. Game 2, getting a lot of kills, no objectives. Game 3, getting the kills and getting the objectives, but it still took a while, because in the beginning, they were only getting the kills.
Yeah, the thing is, for me, even though SUPA HOT CREW managed to get those kills and find those objectives, they then sort of stalled. There was a long period of time from about 30, 35 minutes where the SUPA HOT CREW were building up a big lead. At one point, they had over a 10,000 gold lead. But they just didn't break any of Rockat's lines. It almost felt like the 2-0 deficit from early on the series may have been weighing down their decision-making because they seemed very reserved, and I didn't feel like they were pushing Roccat super hard.
So, Nif, do you think that's the case, or was it maybe something in Rockat's comp that made it that SUPA HOT CREW couldn't push that easily against it at that point in the game? What do you think it was?
I think at the beginning it was more mind block still, where they were really scared, even though they had a better mid game. I think the first dragon they got, they could have done it one track before, where they could just group and fight them because they had a way better mid game fight, but they didn't group because they're scared. But then later on, they won team fight, so they got the confidence, and then they tried to push things down. But in the end, it was really hard for the inhibitor because the Roccat has like a Tristana and a really good wave clear. I mean, it's really hard to go for the towers because you have a Twitch as well. So they were struggling, but at the beginning they could have pushed it more, and then maybe they could have finished the game earlier.
Yeah, when your confidence is wobbly, a Baron steal is not what the doctor ordered. Let's actually take a look at a replay of that Baron that Roccat is able to secure in the end.
Yeah, so this is 47 minutes into the game, and look at the gold lead. Over 10,000 in favor of the SUPA HOT CREW. They've got a tower lead. At this point, Dragons were still relatively even, but the SUPA HOT CREW have been much more proactive, and this is the stall factor I was talking about. Even with this lead, SUPA HOT CREW were not pushing the inhibitor like Nif just said. Roll a clip out and keep your eyes on Jankos. He's going to move himself in and super smooth. Slide in, gonna get the burst damage with the smite, and even cheekier than that, gets out with a cataclysm hopping over the wall. So this was the play that gave Roccat the statistic bonus and the gold they needed to stall the game out another 13 or 14 minutes. It didn't necessarily swing the game completely in Rockat's favor, but it evened out that lead that SUPA HOT CREW had earned.
Nif, how do you judge what Roccat did after that? Of course, obviously a huge change in momentum here. They get that Baron. Do you think if they went straight up for another team fight immediately, they could have won it there and then, or were they just still too far behind?
They could have won, I think, at that point. I think Baron gives a lot of stats. They had a better comp to push towers with Trist to its long range. But I think they were scared as well at that point. And I think the SUPA HOT CREW had overall the better comp, so they would probably have the slightly edge, even though they have Nashor. And then it's really hard to go in the base. That's like really scary for every team. I think Baron steal was also a bit lucky that he got the knock-up Impaler, so he couldn't smite it. It was actually really nice of him.
Luck, skill, who will tell, of course. Let's actually take a replay at the next Baron that would then essentially seal the fate of both teams here. Let's get that up on the screen, because SUPA HOT CREW, they're still in this one.
Yes, so this particular one goes in favor of SUPA HOT CREW. They get the Baron, they get a bunch of kills. Nif, I'd like you to talk me through the positioning and how the AD carries play, because both Celaver and Mr. Rolls, in my mind, do pretty well. So let's roll this clip out, and again, talk me through what's happening, Nif.
Okay, so we get a binding on Janko, so this time he can't steal it, so they get secured in Nashor. Then they try to kite the Analyst ulti out. They kind of stuck with Charvan, but they're still kiting. They get intervention down, but Kale dies. But Mr. Russ has a really good position in the bush, so he doesn't get attacked of anyone. He gets a lot of damage out. And Silver tries to do the same with Trist, but he can't really get the important targets. So he only gets like Morgana and Kale before, and then SUPA HOT CREW just can clean up with the Twitch alive and still the Orianna alive. And then, yeah, you could see they had the better comp, but here they were a bit unlucky that they couldn't get all of them.
Yeah, so 2-1 now to Roccat, but to me it kind of feels like it's a complete reset after a long game like that. How do you guys think this will affect the next game?
I think to a certain degree, That's true, especially in a very long marathon game. You don't know what that psychological damage will be to Roccat, and you don't know what boost it's going to give SUPA HOT CREW, because they fought tooth and nail for that win. It's either going to give them confidence or they're going to go, wow, we should have won that 20 minutes earlier. I do think picks and bans went much better for SUPA HOT CREW that game, which is part of the reason why they ended up going so long. So I think picks and bans are going to be very important in game 4 to see if we're going to go all the way.
Nif, can you say one key thing for one of the other teams to get ahead of here?
Yeah, I think it's really important to have the better pick and ban phase. So whoever will win this will probably win the next game. But it can go either way, and really depends how they do it. I hope they change it up a little bit, both teams, because I don't think they will let each team do the same.
Yeah, it was an incredible game, and we're going to take a quick break from the action. But when we come back, it will be game 4 as the SUPA HOT CREW mount a comeback, while Roccat still hopes to close things out.